Ethiopian government is putting pressure on Somaliland on sea access issue reportedly. While most people say that Ethiopia Somaliland MoU ceased to exist when Ethiopia entered into talks with Somalia, situation on the ground indicates that Ethiopia is still interested in implementing the MoU if it can implement that. Secondly, Getachew political party, Tigray Democratic Solidarity, has issued a statement asking the federal government to take action against TPLF and Tigray. The question is, what type of action does solidarity demand from the federal government against TPLF? Let's start with this news story. Then we'll talk about access to sea issue. Tigray Democratic Solidarity is the political party newly formed, led by Getachew, former president of Tigray, who's now serving as advisor to the Ethiopian PM on East Africa affairs. The party, by the way, announced to start its membership campaign in Tigray. It announced to hold party congress, founding congress of the party in Tigray. I am not aware of any activity of the party carried out in Tigray. And if you remember, National Election Board of Ethiopia recently wrote a letter to Tigray interim administration, asking the interim administration to allow Democratic Solidarity Party to carry out political activities in Tigray. But I am not aware of any single activity of this party in Tigray so far. Party leaders, all are based in Addis Ababa. It seems that Democratic Solidarity Party wants federal government of Ethiopia to take action on TPLF and Tigray military. In a statement issued yesterday, the party said that TPLF is conspiring with Eritrea for another war. TPLF and Tigray military commanders, they want to take control of southern Tigray government. They are opening fire at innocent people in a far region in southern Tigray. And that return of IDPs is being obstructed by TPLF. That is why people of Tigray, intellectuals, scholars should rise against TPLF, and federal government must intervene. Because TPLF, Eritrea, some military commanders, they're planning to wage war. This is what Solidarity Party said. Largely, this is what they meant in the statement. Question is, what does Getachew's party want from federal government? Either Getachew's party is issuing this statement just to appease the federal government, and federal government wants Getachew party to issue such statements in order to put pressure upon TPLF and Tigray to stop TPLF and Tigray from igniting a new conflict. Because at this point of time, federal government does not want a war at this point of time. Or Getachew party wants federal government to take action on TPLF. Which action, by the way? TPLF is no more a political party. Its status revoked. If federal government takes more action against TPLF, that would amount to declaration of war. If federal government freezes all the assets of Tigray leaders, the federal government bans the entry of these leaders into the regions, if federal government stops all funding for Tigray, that would amount to declaration of war. Is this what Democratic Solidarity Party of Getachew wants? I think Solidarity Party wants federal government to take action on TPLF, whether the action amounts to declaring war or but federal government, as I said earlier, does not want to start war now. It wants to wait for some time. I'm not saying that federal government wants peace and it does not want conflicts. Federal government has been promoting conflicts in Tigray, in Amhara, but at this point of time, federal government doesn't want to fight. It wants to fight at a date of its choice, on a time of its choice, on a terrain of its choice, at a time of its choice, maybe after a few months. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian government is putting pressure on Somaliland about sea access issue. It was last year, January 2024, when Ethiopia signed a controversial MoU with Somaliland. Somaliland is a self-declared country, unrecognized, trying to get recognition for the last 2 decades, more than 2 decades. Somalia says Somaliland is part of Somalia, and international community also considers Somaliland as part of Somalia. When Ethiopia signed MoU with Somaliland, that angered Somalia. MoU stipulates that Ethiopia will build a naval base in Somaliland. It will have full sea access through Somaliland. In return, Ethiopia will recognize Somaliland as a country, and Ethiopia will give shares in its profitable entities to Somaliland. Profitable entities like Ethiopian Airlines, etc. MoU was frozen last year when Somalia showed resistance. It formed alliance with Eritrea and Egypt. Ethiopia did not receive any positive response from international community on this issue. Ethiopia froze the MoU. It had to freeze the MoU because a new government took office in Somaliland. The man who signed MoU with Ethiopia was removed, and Abdirahman Ere was elected the new president. Abdirahman Ere has not been showing interest in implementing the MoU. But in recent months, we heard that Abdirahman government was interested in talking to Ethiopia about CXS. Why? Abdirahman visited several countries, Kenya, I think he visited US too recently. He wants recognition, but no one has given any assurance to Abdirahman. So now Abdirahman is reverting to Ethiopia. Maybe he's seeing a chance that through implementation of MoU with Ethiopia, why not could get recognition? That is why he's not interested in talking to Ethiopia. He was due to visit Ethiopia this month, reportedly, but his visit has been postponed, or you can say rescheduled. Ethiopia now wants to seek assurance from Somaliland about sea access issue before Abdirahman Ero visits Addis Ababa. Ethiopian and Somali land officials are holding meetings. They want the visit of Abdirahman Ero to be a historic visit. They want Abdirahman Ero to agree to Ethiopian terms and conditions about sea access. Actually, Ethiopia wants to gain access to sea through Somaliland, but it is not committing to recognize Somaliland as a country. Rather, it says that it will consider this issue and it will recognize, but it is Somaliland wants immediate recognition. Ethiopia wants to postpone recognition to a later date. This is what one of the main obstacles is in implementing the MoU. It seems that now Abdirahman is interested in reaching a deal with Ethiopia. But before that, now delegation level talks are underway. While Ethiopia is interested in taking control of Assab, at the same time, it is not discarding its MoU with Somaliland. If Ethiopia cannot get sea access through Eritrea, no matter how hard it tries, obviously it will have to explore other options too. That is why Somaliland Ethiopia MoU is not dead. It was frozen last year. It is being reactivated reportedly. But we must know that yesterday Hassan Sheikh was in Egypt, and Egyptian president said in the presence of Hassan Sheikh that Egypt will continue supporting Somalia's military. Egypt will not allow Ethiopia to gain access to sea. Egypt does not want any non-Red Sea country to have presence on Red Sea. So Egypt standing with Somalia. Hassan Sheikh did not say a word against Ethiopia, against God. But if Ethiopia reactivates MoU with Somaliland, we will see the reactivation of Eritrea, Somalia, Egypt trilateral alliance. All have the access to brine. Egypt wants legally binding agreement with Ethiopia over good. Eritrea wants to push Ethiopia back. It does not want Ethiopia to consider the idea of taking us up. So let's see. I think coming months could be interesting. Thanks for watching.